Gamers, welcome back. If this is your first time here to the channel, do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe button below. Really helps the channel grow. We appreciate it. I apologize, I wasn't in town at all last week, so I didn't get a chance to do any videos. But today I want to go over the 12.1 updates that are coming, what's affected, and some new strategies, or not new, but advanced strategies to kind of help when you're in the Outlands to get out alive. So, is drop shotting dead? I don't think so, and here's why. All they did was increase the bloom when you drop, so they maximize it as big as it can go on the bloom when you shoot, when you're shooting or dropping. So instead of the increased or the increased accuracy where you either crouch or go all the way down as prone. That was the problem originally with drop shotting, and that's why people said, it was such a pain point or a problem in the game. So what they did is they basically maximized the bloom during the drop, which was probably, because it's built in Unreal, it was probably easier to just change the bloom cycle or the accuracy cycle, the hit cycle, versus reprogramming the actual movement. So instead of doing C++ coding to the blueprint and changing it, which could create additional problems for Outlander's appearance or movement or whatever, they just kind of basically took the route of maximizing the bloom. So you can still drop shot. It's just highly unlikely, highly inaccurate. But again, this game has some quirks, so you always have the opportunity to get Vigor. So I wouldn't say, even though it says it's mitigated, I wouldn't necessarily guarantee that is indeed the case, just based on the way the programming was done. They did show that guy B. He went and did some testing on the new stun, both in the mortars and the contact bombs, and I like it, honestly. It looks really cool. I would suggest checking out his video. He's a partner, so he has access to the preview build. And the new stun mechanic, if you haven't seen it yet, check out his video for sure. It's really cool. I think it's going to make mortars and bombs that much more viable, just because of the way the stun mechanic works. I haven't seen it with the shotguns or a Mosin or any gun that does stun on shot, so I guess we'll have to see how that looks. But if the contact bomb and mortar is any indication, it's pretty cool. So definitely is going to add another tool to your arsenal. And then they also did added new challenges, which are actually kind of a crossover now. So you'll have shootout challenges, elimination challenges that kind of roll through the progression, which encourages you to try different game modes if you haven't. And I like that. I'm not a big shootout or elimination player. I probably play. I'll do it in spurts where I might go a day where I'm just going to play shootout for an hour, but those are few and far between. So this gives you an opportunity and an additional reward to play. If you haven't played those game modes, I would highly suggest it because they are really fun. It's just, encounters are the sexy thing to play, so everybody goes for that. So with that, let's go over some tactics that we deploy in the Outlands. And stay tuned to the end because we have a shout out to one of our subscribers. He did something really cool, so I want to share that with everybody. First, when you get pinged. This happens a lot in game where somebody will use a portable detector to get your presence found. And as you can see here, I'm crossing an open field. The barred house is going to be in front of me. And right here, somebody picks me up. Now, I think it's somebody up by the exit up top, because I heard somebody with a rifle up there earlier. So I wasn't too concerned. But I still kept moving. That's the important part of this, is you want to keep moving when you get pinged, because people by nature are going to see where you're at in the map. It shows you that minute, and they're going to go to where you were. Then right here you can see the safe is being unlocked, and I know it's in the red barn there. So then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. The guy's trying to go in and do something, so he obviously does his portable signal detector. But then you can see this guy just crouch walking in the open. And this is the thing you don't want to do. So this guy probably pinged me. He's probably the one that found where I was, saw I was over the hill, probably doesn't know the map that well, which, you know, you have an influx of new players, so that's why I'm kind of, you know, going over these tactics. But when you get pinged, move, because they're going to go to your last location. And if you're doing the pinging, don't just crouch walk in the open. It's not going to end well, especially for players that have a little more experience. You know, they're just going to get you. So make sure you take advantage of that move. And when you do it, do the pinging, make sure you move quickly to where they were. Now this one, jumping for silence. So the lock container is down there in the, you know, past the house, and I hear somebody, but I can't see him. Now I see him. So I pause right here because I know he probably saw me, or I assume he saw me, and he went behind that rock. So I'm waiting for him to go. You know, if I'm looking at him, it'll be to the left on the screen, but probably to his right in real time. I'm thinking he's going to wrap right, trying to find me. But he doesn't. He stays behind the rock. And that's why that's important there. Because I jumped, because he stayed behind that rock waiting, trying to get me in a prone position with the M249, which is an amazing gun in this game right now. We know that. I jumped before I engaged. It gave me that split second. It's about a second of silence. My feet land, and then I turn and shoot. As you can see in that spot, let me see if I can pull it up here. I'll show you again. So look, he's shooting where he last heard me, because he didn't see me because we had the rocks in the way and we broke visual contact. So because of my feet landing and then momentum carries the player, obviously, you know, another step further, he's shooting where he audibly heard me, which is not where I'm at anymore. And because I didn't want to take I didn't know he had an M249, but I knew if I closed the gap and pushed, I would probably have a better chance of succeeding at getting the kill than just trying to shoot it out with a guy. And luckily I did, because he had an M249 and he would have just destroyed me from any distance besides, you know, that right there. So, you know, knowing your play style and getting that quick little jump in before you engage, it makes a difference, because even at, you know, point blank range, he still should have won, other than the fact that I wasn't where he heard me because I jumped. Then repositioning. So this one is kind of a long clip. I apologize, but I was fighting this dude for like 3 minutes. And he was just lasering me across the map, and I couldn't see him. You can see the hit markers will be coming. Yep, see, there they are. Like, he's just, and it's an SVU, so I'm already like, man, this dude's just a heck of a shot if he can. I can't see anything. And it could have been he's just shooting for luck. That happens too. So he shoots at me a little bit more. I clip that out, but basically I'm like, all right, I'm done playing with this. I'm just going to go up and dictate the condition in which the engagement occurs. So I go to where I think he's at. I don't see him. And I'm just looking. At this point, I'm like, all right, maybe he left. Which would make sense, because we kept breaking visual contact. But nope, there he is. So now I know he's behind the rock. I saw him. And this, don't do this. This is kind of a cocky move. I click the bar down, so like right after I kill those guys, this is where I'm going, so I apologize. And I'm looking to make sure there's nobody to my right, because of gunshots, Usually have people running over. I should have clipped this. I feel like I'm doing a play-by-play. Sorry. And then just terrible shooting on my part, on both of our parts, but I got the kill. And I got that because instead of trying to engage the guy where he was shooting at me first with the height advantage, I kept moving. And then I moved to his level. I got to his plane instead of just shooting up. So that's why I mean repositioning yourself. You know, don't be afraid to run around with your gun on your back because you're actually faster that way. And just teaching yourself to wiggle a little bit so you can, you know, avoid if somebody jumps out and surprises you. So having that confidence and using that in my playstyle a lot, I'm able to reposition the entire fight up to point blank range, and you know, we get the kill and we get the SUV and all this stuff, or SVU, sorry. So that's the important part about that: repositioning, moving when you get pinged, and jumping for silence so they don't hear you when you land. And it makes a difference, especially if they can't see you. So with that, we're getting to the end. I want to give a shout out to one of our subscribers here. He made some awesome banner art and logos. I mean, I love it. Look, I look all swole playing games, you know, shooting little kids. That's probably how I play. I'll have to ask my wife, but but anyways, man, I appreciate it. It's cool as hell. So hit this guy up if you guys need any banner art or any logos. He did an awesome job and just, you know, reached out and was like, hey, I did this. I'm like, cool. So I like it. I like it a lot. But with that, gamers, I appreciate you guys sticking around. We're continuing to grow. We're almost at 400 subscribers. We're trying to get to that 1,000 mark. So, you know, thank you, everyone. I appreciate you tremendously. And, hey, stay safe out there, Outlanders, because it's a dangerous place. Take care.